What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is day 10 of all Imperial Beer Theme Month here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today, once again, comes from the AleSmith Brewing Company, and they are out of San Diego, California, and this is their Speedway Grand Prix 2024, and this is the Rocky Road edition. So this is an Imperial Stout with cacao nibs, roasted almonds, roasted walnuts, Madagascar vanilla beans, coffee, and natural flavors. It comes in at 12% alcohol by volume, 70 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is just over 2.5 months old. So recently I picked up the mixed 4-pack of AleSmith's Speedway Grand Prix, 4 different variants of their iconic Speedway Stout, and I'm reviewing them all this month during All Imperial Beer Theme Month. And I'm really excited about it. Now, the first one I reviewed last week, it was their chocolate raspberry edition. Quite tasty. The chocolate and the raspberry worked way better with the base beer than I thought it would. This week, I'm reviewing this one. Next week will be the maple bar edition. And the week after that will be the toasted coconut Vietnamese coffee edition. I'm reviewing these in order of least to most excited. Not that I didn't think that the chocolate raspberry edition was going to be good, but sometimes breweries go a little bit too crazy with the raspberry. The raspberry doesn't work with the other characteristics. Totally wrong. Gave that a 4.2 out of 5. Delicious beer. So I'm hoping this one is just as good, if not better. I love me some Rocky Road ice cream. I'm hoping this is like Rocky Road ice cream meets like coffee ice cream in Imperial Coffee Stout form. Now this one, 70 IBUs. For 2 of them on tap, it says 70 IBUs, and the other 2 it says none. I think the base is 12% ABV, 70 IBUs, so whatever. Does it really matter, IBUs? I don't think anyone really cares anymore, but I got OCD, so I mentioned the IBUs in every single review. Also, shout out to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Billy. The beer mail hasn't been received by me yet. It should be here in the next couple days, but he actually sent me the mixed 4-pack that I already had, because he didn't know I had it. So I'm going to have extras of all these beers. They're not going to go to waste. I'm going to share them with some local friends for sure, but I feel bad for Billy. And then Billy, like the next day, told me, he's like, can you get any of these Yetis? So he's sending me 4 different Yeti variants from Great Divide and another beer. And it's just like, I don't know, Billy, you're awesome. I do apologize. Should have told you that I picked these up because I know you get your hands on AleSmith, but I'm not going to complain to have extras of these beers. So anyway, we're going to pour it in the glass and go from there. Wow, this is looking thicker and kind of more viscous than the other one. Do something like that. I did spill it. Hang on. I saved it. Just so you know, I think I'm licking this. I know this sounds stupid, but I do so out of habit. But I typically wash my cans. I do. I wash my cans. You don't know what hands, where they've been, especially on the top. So I wash my cans. So when I lick it down the side, I'm not licking a whole bunch of germs. I do thoroughly wash them. So just to let you know that it might be kind of gross that I try to save the beer doing that, but I'm just being honest with you. I wash the cans. I know how stupid that sounds, but it takes literally 30 seconds, 20 seconds. I do it while I'm washing my glass before I do the review. Anyway, yeah, pitch black in the glass. Yeah, there's no dark brown, kind of like the chocolate raspberry. A finger of a straight up brown colored head, almost verging into the dark brown kind of realm. Very creamy looking luscious in the glass. I'm using the Lost Abbey. I use my Firestone Walker. I'm going to keep all these in TQs, just like this month I'm reviewing the Jack's Abbey pastry versions of Framingham. I'm keeping them all in the Trillium. I'm going to keep all of these in some kind of TQ to keep it consistent. But yeah, that looks fantastic. It really does. So let's get a nose on this one. A lot of things going on. I don't think I'm going to be like, oh, that's Rocky Road, but I'm curious to see what adjuncts I pick up on and if it's better than last week's review. Okay, I was going to say, I just smell Speedway Stout. It's like this huge Imperial Coffee Stout. And now it's starting to smell a little bit like Rocky Road, or a little bit like there's a huge nuttiness actually coming to the forefront. So it's everything you love about Speedway Stout. Huge, kind of like dark chocolate, roasted, like a nice roasted malt. A very intense coffee roast. And I mentioned this in the chocolate raspberry version. I can't believe how intense the coffee is in this beer. When I reviewed the base Speedway Stout, it was like 4 or 5 months old, so the coffee had faded a little bit. This is more vibrant from a coffee standpoint than the base was of the one I reviewed. And Joe over at Joe's Arcade, good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber, he was like, isn't it crazy how intense the coffee character is in Speedway? Yes. And that's why it's an iconic Imperial Coffee Stout, an iconic beer in the craft beer scene. There is this sweetness that is reminding me of like marshmallow. I think it might be the vanilla. There is no marshmallow in here, right? And does Rocky Road have marshmallow? Pretty much why they put the Madagascar vanilla beans in there. Yeah, because it has extra chocolate, then the 2 nuts, vanilla beans, coffee. I don't know what the natural flavors are. It's funny because in last week's review, I mentioned that, oh, you know, they actually brewed this one with cocoa nibs, raspberries, and coffee. No natural flavors. And then AleSmith lets me down a little bit by putting natural flavors in it. So right now, I get the nuttiness is kind of, it didn't hit me at first, then it hit me. I was like, wow, this is intense. It's kind of faded. I'm getting marshmallow, like definite marshmallow in here. There's chocolate, there's marshmallow, there's coffee. Kind of smells like someone took a, like you're drinking like a mocha drink of some sort, and you just put like some marshmallows in it. That's what it kind of smells like. No dark fruits, no kind of caramelized sugars. Yeah, so I get that a little bit of the nuttiness now, but it's really just chocolate, coffee, marshmallow, on top of a 12% beer that I cannot smell the booze or anything. This smells awesome. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Why am I getting that? Nothing bad, something different. Going back in. Glass lacing. Phenomenal. Getting a little bit of like a berry note in this. It's nice. It's nice. I think last week's was a little bit better off of those first couple sips. All right, let's go body mouthfeel. Body's a bit thin. I think I said that about last week's as well. I hate that I'm keep on referencing it, but it's fresh in my mind and I'm reviewing them all. So comparing them seems like the appropriate thing to do, although you probably don't care if you haven't watched that review. But yeah, it's a little bit thin. It's like lower side of full body into medium full. 12%, it's thin. It's not like watery or anything, but I would like this to be full bodied. The mouthfeel, it's nice, has a moderate carbonation. It's smooth. It's somewhat creamy on the palate, so the mouthfeel is better than the body. The taste, honestly, what I'm loving about these variants, and I don't know because I haven't had a ton of different Speedway Stout variants. I've had the barrel aged version. I've had the barrel aged Vietnamese coffee. I've had the regular Vietnamese coffee. I had a couple others, but what I am learning about the Speedway Grand Prix, the soul of this beer, which is Speedway Stout, is still very apparent, and it comes through in spades, and I love that. If you're going to do a variant of a iconic beer, or any kind of like, if it's like your core beer or your flagship beer, I want to still taste that flagship beer just with some nuances and subtleties and other things going on, and that's kind of what this series has been in these two beers. Like, I'm getting what they're saying, but I'm also getting the soul of the base beer. So right up front, it's tons of mocha vibes. It's chocolate, it's coffee, it's intertwining, it's sweeter, but it's roasty, has a little bit of roasted malt as well. As it passes through, I get a little bit of berry. I get a touch of like a dark red berry. I don't know what that entails exactly, but it almost has like a raspberry flavor like last week's, which is why it's kind of confusing me. But then I get a really nice marshmallow kick to it. Like, it's definitely marshmallow, 100%. Not Madagascar vanilla beans, not vanilla. It's marshmallow, which is wild. And then as it finishes, I 100% get this dry, nutty character. If I had to guess what kind of nut they're using in this, if I was doing it blind, I totally wouldn't say walnuts. I would probably say almonds. That would be probably the default, or maybe even hazelnut, although I'm not getting a distinct hazelnut flavor. But I just, you're going to see this a couple days after I reviewed a big barrel-aged beer from Mortalis that had almonds in it. That had that same drying almond consistency. That's what's happening here. It has a drying almond character. This finishes semi to full-on dry, but this is, again, moderately bitter. It has this coffee, like this dark roasted coffee bitterness. And again, that's what I noticed in the first one. Noticing it here again, I dig it. 12%, nice warming in my chest, nothing on the palate. There's also a little bit of like hop character too, like a resinous kind of earthy, kind of almost slightly piney, but not really. More sprucey, maybe a little minty. There's something going on in the back of the palate. Real nice. I don't know what the natural flavors are. I wish I knew. Maybe it's that berry characteristic. I have no idea. This is tasty. It's another tasty variant in the Speedway Grand Prix series. Yeah, it's the ABV is well hidden on the palate. Obviously, I got a big warming in my chest. It's almost on fire. It's definitely boozy. You get the Rocky Road. I wouldn't necessarily call out Rocky Road, but I am getting a marshmallow. The chocolate seems amplified. And then on top of that, that drying nutty sensation that I would identify as almonds is definitely there. Not really picking up all the walnuts, natural flavors, whatever. And it doesn't taste like someone put, Rocky Road ice cream in a huge Imperial coffee stout. I didn't think it would, and it doesn't, but we'll do one more sip and then I'll lock in a rating. Do I like this as much as the chocolate raspberry variant? It's close, but I don't think I like it as much as the chocolate raspberry one. Yeah, I don't. It's tough. It's tough. The only reason it's tough is because the base beer is so fucking good, okay? The base beer is so good, and I don't think these are as good as the base beer. And there might not be one. If I was a betting man, I would guess Toast Coconut Vietnamese Coffee one's gonna be my favorite, which is why I'm reviewing it last. But something so simplistic about Imperial Coffee Stout that just is done well. These kind of bring down Speedway Stout a little bit, but to what degree? They're still delicious beers, and I like it. And I like trying out the different variants and the different flavors and whatnot. Anyway, I like to ramble. It's the Beer Patrol. Hi, welcome. We like to ramble here. We like to say a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. We like to repeat ourselves like 33 times in a single review. But anyway, Speedway Grand Prix 2024, the Rocky Road edition. I'm going to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.15. So just under that chocolate raspberry edition. This is good, don't get me wrong, but that chocolate raspberry was a little bit more simplistic, but just worked better for what I want. This is slightly worse than that. Still really tasty, just not my jam. If you like Rocky Road flavored anything, specifically Rocky Road ice cream, and you see this, yeah, give it a go, especially for the price point. If you have to buy the entire 4-pack, I'd say do it. It's still fun, and it's cheap in comparison to a lot of other things, which we'll talk about momentarily. All right, so price point availability, $16.99 a 4-pack. I paid $4.25 a can all day, every day. 12% Imperial Coffee Stouts with a bunch of other adjuncts. Yeah, and you bought a mixed 4-pack too. It wasn't like you had to buy an entire 4-pack of just one flavor. You had me sold at the mixed 4-pack, and even better, that's under $20. So all day, every day. And availability, if you check AleSmith's website and their Instagram, they talk about where this gets distro. Specifically on Instagram, they mention, I think it's like a dozen states. And then they do say that this gets into Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and a couple other bigger grocery stores and chains. So if you get AleSmith stuff and you get Speedway Stout, and if you've seen variants before, you should see this one, or you already should have seen this one late last year. I was lucky enough to pick this one up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio. We do not get AleSmith stuff here in Western New York. However, they said that this is in New York State, but I'd imagine it's closer to New York City. New York City and Western New York distro, it's a tale of two different worlds. It's like we should be two states, because we get a lot of stuff, or they get a lot of stuff there that we do not see here, and it's kind of wild. It is. So anyway, not much more to say about this one. I will say one other thing though. Both of these beers have not been too sweet. They have a great balance. This has some bitterness here from the hop character, from the coffee. While it is rich and decadent to some degree, it is not cloying, it's not overbearing, and that's what I'm liking about these. Again, it has the soul of Speedway Stout, which is Imperial Coffee Stout, with some accentuation from the adjuncts, as opposed to being just an adjunct-laden beer with a little bit of the Speedway Stout. No, at its core, it's a Speedway Stout, just has other adjuncts added, and I do appreciate that. Some people might not. Some people might just want a huge, sweet mess of a beer. I'm not one of those people. I think this is delicious for what it is. Give it a 4.15 out of 5. So if you've had this one before, any of the Speedway Grand Prix Series beers from late last year, if you've had them late last year or early this year, whatever, post the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And once again, apologize to Billy for already picking this up. He hasn't sent it to me yet. It's in transit. I'll do the unboxing and I'll talk about it more there. You'll probably see that after this review, I would assume. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, next week, Maple Bar Edition. I love maple. Hopefully, I'm hoping that beer and the Toast Coconut Vietnamese Coffee one is better than both of these first two, even though these are both good. I'm banking on both those being delicious. Let's hope so. Cheers.